Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're getting error code 3CA in your Samsung ventless all-in-one washer dryer combo unit, this is going to be the video for you. I'm going to show you guys how I turned a Facebook Marketplace find into what they were told was a $700 fix by a tech. I don't know if that was Samsung or if that was somebody else, but they were told $700 in order to fix this unit. They gave them multiple parts and they were all wrong. I fixed it for so much cheaper, and I'll put the link to those parts down in the description below, so be sure you're checking those out. Originally, I thought this was an error with the actual motor, and in the past, I have told people that the error code 3CA was motor related because error code 3C is a motor related issue. However, this is not the case for this machine. The 3CA is related to the compressor, and so that is what I didn't end up finding out until a little bit later, but here we are. We're actually going to take the control panel out. In order to do that, you're going to need to take the thermistor. You're going to need to pull that out all the way. If your unit is not drained, water will come out, so be sure the power is off before you start any of this stuff. Also, be sure to hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos just like this one. Now, before you take the control panel out, be sure you are unplugging and unscrewing that ground from the frame. You have the blue connection here. You saw me move it up, and the thermistor is actually unplugged. Once you've got the control panel out, you're going to take those two tabs on the front, pop that top open. We're just looking for any signs of anything that shouldn't be there. Any blown capacitors, any connections that look loose, any connections that are burnt, anything that doesn't look like it should be. If you have animals, like cats for instance, make sure, this one smelled like cat urine, so I double checked to make sure it didn't have any cat pee in it. It didn't, thankfully. However, it still smells 3 to 4 weeks later, so take that for what it's worth. But at this point, I am literally just unplugging these connections now. Everything looked okay from a visual standpoint. I'm just unplugging these connections and I'm plugging those back in. I did put everything back together after I plugged them back up, and I tried it again. I was still getting error code 3CA. I was hoping that it would just be, hey, we just need to reseat this connection, but that was not the case. So what do we do here? So at this point, I'm just going to use a flashlight and just look a little bit deeper, see if I see anything else that I just missed with my naked eye. It is getting kind of dark, even though it doesn't really seem like it in the video. The secondary PCB comes out next, so we can test some voltages. Black here, right? So we have blue and white, and we're getting 88 volts. We go to black, blue and black, we're getting 7.3 volts. That's that wire, okay? So blue to black, okay? If we do white and red, we get 180. If we do blue and white, we get 88. But when we plug this connector back up, I'm gonna unplug power before I do that. Not trying to die today. I am not trying to die today. Plug that up, okay? And we'll go plug the power back up. Okay. Now, blue and white. Now we're getting 120 volts. So that leads me to believe, and pretty much be confident in, these blue and white and blue and black wires are not the same as the one that will go from the secondary PCB. They are probably coming from the inverter PCB and then over to here to then power everything up. So that's what we're gonna check next. Now, if you unplug the blue and the black connection from the very top, if you're facing the right side of the unit, that is actually the power connection to the inverter board. I was getting 0.2 volts. When I started it up, I'd get 0 volts. Now, on my machine, when I would turn the unit off and I would turn it back on, I would get 120 volts immediately. Also, I think it's super cool here to note that they're actually using a magnet for an EMI filter. But one thing that I'm just curious of is, why is this one roll right here taped? Was there a cut at the factory and they just tried to like cover it up? Because none of the other ones are. While undoing some of the electrical tape, I ended up breaking one of the grounds from a connector that's underneath, so I just had to solder it back together. RIP. Now, to actually get to the inverter board, you have to take a lot of things loose. You have to take the ring around the actual drum, rubber boot. There's a lot that goes into it, so if you want a video like that, be sure and let me know down in the comment section below. But here I am, taking the inverter board loose. It is a lot of work, and it is very dangerous. There are some large capacitors in there, but as you can see, there are three. We've got the white, red, and blue wire, the white, red, and black wire, and then we've got the other black, red, and white wire, and then we've got the blue and black wire. First things first, I'm literally just checking to see if the actual fuse itself is good on the board. I also did that on the secondary PCB board too, but I don't know that I showed it in the... No judgment here, but I know that this is what happens whenever you don't run your product care cycle on a monthly basis. As I tell everyone that has one of these units, that's what you need to do, monthly basis. This is what happens. This is a prime example of what happens whenever you do not run the product care cycle and use something like a fresh on a monthly basis. Like if you don't clean out your lint filter, also, that's also part of the problem. These units are just notorious for lint buildup everywhere, and I am working on trying to figure out a solution for you guys on that. I'm really close. The noise outside was too bad, so I'm just going to do a voiceover here. What I'm saying is the middle connector there actually connects over to the compressor, and I verified that through a resistance test. Also, I am just showing this information because I hope that it helps somebody out there. If it helps one person, it's worth it.
It also looks like all of these boards are powered through these blue and black cables. That looks to be like power coming in, and it's switched via the main control board.
Here's a close-up shot of just how much lint was actually built up inside of this machine. I think that this was probably one of the main causes of the issues that they were having. The compressor was just working so hard it ended up frying a component on the control board. Now we'll get into actually replacing the control panel. I wasn't sure that that's what the problem was, but let's see if that's what fixes it. This will be kind of like the reinstallation. Oh, I got a brand new board. Okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this board and we're going to slide at this white piece. We're gonna slide it in and not break the tab. We're gonna slide it in there, and oh man, we're gonna slide it in and slide it over. Okay, now, all right, this is kind of a pain. So we're gonna go ahead and hook these up first. So they basically, they wired this up well enough to where you can basically just plug everything up in accordance with distance. And none of these connections are the same size, which is great. Like this one looks like it's that size, it's not. So you like, here, let me show you. You can't actually plug this one up to that one. It's too big. So and so then the black one is just going to get plugged up too, and it's starting to get dark here, so it feels like my wife is messaging me, and I really hope she's okay. And then we are going to go back to this other harness right here, and then so our little single cable is going right there, and then our cable right here, and then we've got the red and the black, which went on the bottom here, and then our blue and our black went right there. Now we have to slide the power mechanism back, the power box back over, and it's wired a little differently, but yeah, that's basically it right there. And then we will take the, so we're done here. We want to make sure whenever we do this, all these wires are out of the way, right? And we're not going to interfere with anything whenever we put this cover back on. So be very careful not to pinch any of those wires right up here, or right here. So, and then just kind of slide these gray tabs down in here, and then on the back, and so it's secure, it's not going anywhere. And then this one, I don't know, just kind of, you know, I don't know, kind of is what it is on this one. It just does not want to stay in there for me for some reason. So I end up using some Gorilla Tape just to kind of get it back in there. But then we're going to slide it back down in here, and we're going to push in. Okay, and I'm going to slide all these connections back over. Then we're going to put our screws back in these two holes, and we're going to wire up our ground back over here, and then our connections. But do not, absolutely do not forget to plug your thermistor back up, and it needs to be all the way in there. I'm showing you the entire process of start to finish because it's important to note that those two connections don't have 120 volts all the time, but whenever the system starts up, it does start up at 120 volts to kind of energize the board just to verify everything's okay. Then it goes back down to 0 volts, and it pops back up, and then it goes back down. And so I just wanted you guys to see that process. It should not be 0 volts, especially whenever you turn it off and turn it back on. Did you try to turn it off and back on again? No error code! Yes! Now here I'm going to run a self-diagnostics test on this machine now that the option is available with the new control panel plugged up, and see what we get. But in the meantime, check out this awesome footage of this is what happens whenever you don't run the product care cycle. And now we're done checking. Yes, this was the second attempt. No problems.